Gosh, Taylor with power is something I never want to see again.
It's Nick Short's BB Remix, and this is where I'll explore the social dynamic of Big Brother through videos and shorts. I capture live footage between the house guests before "You Are Not Allowed to Talk About Production" comes over the loudspeaker. Each week, look for brand new videos, so make sure you subscribe to my channel so you'll be the first to know when I upload a new video, and be sure to comment to say hello.
Oh, wait.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, this isn't gonna be fun.
So I'm thinking, and so I don't know how I'm gonna feel in an hour, but that's where I'm feeling right now. I've talked with Terrence multiple times. I don't know how to even have this conversation. And obviously the goal for me is to understand and to learn a very selfish game moving forward. And I think that's where a lot of the issues that I've had lie, is just thinking me, and not why, not trying to understand other people's perspectives and other people's beliefs and things like that. So I have made mistakes.
Take your time. We don't have anywhere to be.
So my soul, I don't know. But I feel terrible, and I feel so terrible, Taylor. And I'm sorry, and again, I don't know what to say. I don't know why, and I know I was wrong, and I never should have made those snap judgments or even thought that I don't know how to explain or where to put my hurt and my sorrow on, because it's just, there's so many things. Like Brittany asked me today, like, well, what are you sorry about? And it's like everything. Like there's not one thing I can point to and say, I'm sorry I did this. It's like, I'm sorry for having that mentality and having those snap judgments and not being as open and maybe learning more about each individual person, or so that's where I'm at. The kindness that you've shown and everyone in the house has shown is unwarranted. I don't deserve any of that kindness, but I appreciate it.
So, it's hard as individuals when we're told. You please, yeah. I'm like,
mine. This is mine.
I don't know. I keep like a box of tissue around
I was
here,
looking at the dryer sheets and I was like,
Like,
I
that's
don't
not
know if
gonna help.
that's the move. So
No.
I think this is the move. But
I understand when you're first accused of doing racist things.
yeah,
The reaction to be so offensive, because
yeah,
all of us try to be good people.
yeah.
The circumstances of this game can push us, but regardless, we all try to be good people.
Yeah.
So to be told that you are or are doing something that's so heavy, it's like, that's not the person I am. I wouldn't do that. What? But I think you're doing a really good job of going through that journey of saying, no, I have done something
Yeah.
racist. Like, I have acted in racist thoughts or behavior. And I think the weight of that
Yeah.
gets smaller when we're afraid of what the label is and just acknowledging, like, no, we are multifaceted human beings capable of doing bad things.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think that you are fully this bad thing.
Yeah.
I was shocked when they told me, like, you see me sometimes when I have, like, my scarf on and my sunglasses. I'm bundled up. I was like, Kyle? Who? What?
Yeah.
And because that's not the person that I know.
Yeah.
But I also know we are multidimensional
Yeah,
people. And
for sure.
I'm sure I have done or said things in my past against other minority groups. Shit, in middle school, I'm sure I was a little asshole about everything. 'Cause
Yeah.
early mid-2000s, yeah, you don't even know what you're saying. But there are things that I'm sure I've said or done that I'd be humiliated and disgusted by in my past. And I'm happy I can say I am not aware of things currently that I've done. But if I were to do something right now, knowing how I feel about people right now, I wouldn't be afraid to say, to own that.
Yeah. Did something wrong.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, I will do better and I will learn more.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing.
yeah. Trying to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and I walked in here being like, I'm very optimistic. And
Yeah.
then 2 seconds later, I'm back to sorrow. So it definitely is fluctuating.
Yeah, but that's, again, being a human being. Like, you
Yeah.
can feel multiple things at one time.
Yeah.
You're not just A or B, you're the entire alphabet.
Yeah.
And that's
for sure.
okay.
Yeah.
So, for me, you know, I am working through the moment where, I'm no stranger to dealing with
Yeah.
racism on all different levels.
Yeah.
So at this point, my way of dealing with it is kind of like a little bit of humor. Like, I kind of laugh through it because it's like, I know, but
Yeah.
I think I've told you this before, but when I was crowned, like, my Instagram, my TikTok comments were all like, Miss Michigan USA shouldn't be black. Please give your crown to your first runner-up. She was a blonde white woman. Like, at the background of the cookout in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, something going on here. This game will, excusing it, but I see how you got there.
Yeah.
You said the Y's sounded similar.
And
I see how you got there.
yeah. And
But-
I mean, for me, it was when that alliance was proposed to Monty and Joseph, and
Like, that's the painful part for
Yeah.
me. Like, the idea or threat of people of color uniting felt greater than the bond that we were growing.
Yeah.
Because I was leftovers to the end, baby.
I know, and yeah.
You dummy!
I know. I was an idiot. Honestly, I thought like, yeah. I don't know.
But look, it is a strong unifying bond.
Yeah.
It is a strong unifying bond that maybe could have united us. Like the cookout was last year, but
Yeah.
that's just not the game
No.
that we were playing this year.
And there was no evidence to indicate that, and I jumped to conclusions, and I think that's where I'm like, what was I thinking? Like,
I know.
do you care to? How are we feeling about? Because it probably wasn't even crossing your mind.
No.
And I'm out here like,
Running it like it's calculus in the back of your
yeah,
mind.
I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, no, that never, ever. All I had was leftovers.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to make an assumption,
I also,
run a scenario.
you know, you want to talk about whys, like, it's no secret I came to this game to show that from what I learned last year about the history of the game, like, black people don't do so well, they aren't treated so well. From what I know about my lived experience in the world, black women
Yeah,
get the burden of almost everything, or are ostracized, bullied, not given
yeah,
the benefit of the doubt in the same way that our white counterparts are.
right.
And I will make a deep run in this game at the very least, or win,
Yeah,
being who I am
Yeah.
and carrying all whatever stereotypes are put on me,
Yeah.
because I know how this world works in the outside world,
Yeah.
and I want to take that into the game and not be one of the first ones eliminated. Almost didn't make it, but,
But
somehow
starting
still
from the
here.
bottom now.
Literally the
like,
bottom.
You're here now.
But so when, I'll never forget this. When we were talking about you not wanting to use the veto, and you said something like, you think Alyssa is this mastermind and this evil person and all this, and like, what if at the end of this we're just evicting a really nice girl? And I was like, that triggered me a little bit. I hate saying triggered, but it did trigger me a little bit, because so many instances in my life I have not been given the opportunity to just be the nice girl. Yeah. And I know you're defending your friend, however you want to call it now, but I was like, that it didn't make me feel good. And it's almost kind of funny, because 2 days ago, before I even heard about all of this, I literally woke up and I was like, I want to talk to Kyle about that moment, just because I respect you as my friend. And, in the same way, when you actually didn't use a veto, it was like, okay, who gets to make mistakes, not protecting himself, taking a prize, giving a punishment? Who gets to make that mistake and be saved, and who gets to make that mistake and would not be protected?
Right.
And people like Alyssa are always going to be saved, and people like me are not. So, I talked to Alyssa about that a couple days ago. I wanted to talk to you about that, just so, again, that's my purpose in the game. And I didn't know about any of this circling around it. But I wanted us to have that conversation anyway, because I love you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
So those are kind of my sticking points, that are moments where I didn't feel so good or whatever, but I know that I can have that conversation with you because of a relationship.
For sure.
And, now that all of this has come to light, for me, I'm not just a call out type of person. Like, I'm a call in. So, what's accountability look like? What does bringing you in look like? Because I don't just want you pushed away, and have the door slammed and locked with you on the outside.
Right.
Like, come in. You'll do the work. I know you will. I'll fill you with love, because that's just who I am. I don't have the time or energy for any of this bullshit. Like, I really, it'll wear on my face. I already got dark circles under my eyes. I don't have it in me anymore. And, I'm sure there'll be other conversations that you have where people may be more willing to pour out experiences in their life where they've gone through racism. I don't think I have to cover you in that for you to understand the weight of it.
For sure.
Whatever happens Thursday, we will process that. Whatever happens outside this house, I might look like the stupid black girl out here, but I will be defending you. Because
I appreciate it.
I would rather defend you and your journey to grow and confront the darker parts that we all have in some capacity. I'd rather support you publicly than you to the side.
No, and I appreciate that. And I think, again, like, with what I said at the veto ceremony, like, that rings true. Like, there's two sides. Like, there's the people being affected by it, and there's a person who is affecting people by it. And typically the story is the people who are being affected by it, and not the one who's doing those things that are hurting people and their journey. And I hope, which, I honestly don't know what it looks like, but I hope to be an example as well. Like, you guys have shown so much love and compassion to me. I hope that I can show an example of learning and changing and growing, because I think that's just as important as someone who's showing that love and compassion. And so I appreciate that. And I don't even know what to say. Like, I appreciate it so much, and I'm so sorry for the things that I've done. And Terrence kind of outlined, like, with your decision to not put up Jasmine, like, he kind of gave me a little background on the why, and that's what I was hoping maybe you could share a little bit of too, because, again, with my selfish gameplay, I just thought, and like that, I feel terrible for that, specifically with you and I in our relationship. And that was a moment where I didn't understand fully, and I hope to now.
Yeah. 'Cause you know how I feel about Jasmine.
If you're,
It's
I
like,
know, and that's where I'm like, well, Kyle, why didn't you just think a second before like making assumptions? Like, why didn't you ask? Like,
But I've also not things about game because of whatever reason.
Right.
So I get not wanting to ask.
yeah,
But for me, regardless of how I feel about Jasmine. I don't know if you remember, there was a moment where Joseph said Jasmine was saying some stuff, and I was like, you need to tell me not to put her up right now.
someone hold me back.
Yeah, literally. Because, you know, the thing about Joseph, it was always, don't lose yourself to the game, don't lose
Yeah.
yourself to the game.
Yeah.
And I told him my why, I told all the leftovers.
Yeah,
And he kept telling me, if you put her up, you are losing yourself to the
Yeah.
game, you're abandoning your why. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck me.
yeah,
But I did not want to put her up because if I'm walking into this game saying I want to be the person that carries the weight for
Yeah.
what Black women experience in the real world and the Big Brother world,
Mm-hmm.
who am I to put a Black woman in danger?
yeah,
That doesn't mean I'm not going to vote somebody's ass out.
Right.
That doesn't mean I'm not going to have conflict with them. It just means that if I'm given power,
yeah,
I'm not going to put them in that position.
yeah,
Now, there were caveats. If I was the last HOH of the
Yeah.
leftovers and we made it right there and she's the last to go,
yeah.
you're on the block, baby.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that was no questions for me.
Yeah,
But like you said with Alyssa, you're like, we have 4 targets. I was like, we have other opportunities, and this is the one line that
Yeah.
I have the space to not cross.
right.
And that's all that was.
Okay.
But yeah, like, I have seen how ugly it can get for us.
Yeah,
And I didn't want to put her in that position, even though she put me in that position the second week.
oh yeah, right.
But that was my line.
Yeah,
And that's all it was. It was simple.
yeah, and I can respect that 100%. I appreciate you sharing that with me and like being patient. I mean, I just talked with Alyssa, and she's amazing. She kind of like ended things.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Rightfully so. And I still have hope. Like after watching, after whatever. I mean, we'll see. Definitely we'll see. But I can't remember what she said. But I was like something about me being a asshole, and she was like, "No, you're not an asshole. You're just kind of an idiot." And like, that's where I'm at. I'm like, an idiot can hopefully learn. Like, an asshole is kind of an asshole, and
Yeah.
so I hope that I am just like
A little bit of an
a little bit of an idiot and made some terrible moves and assumptions, and I hope I can be forgiven by you and the rest of the group here in the house. That is the goal of this week, is to come to terms with what I've done and to learn and to try and make amends in any way that I can, because I have no idea what that looks like. Again, this is a first for me, but
It does not look like you taking care of my laundry. You don't have to keep doing running things
oh
like
no,
that.
that was just, I didn't want to put it up with the bugs.
Yeah, I know.
But there is,
I turned around, I was like,
I am
that
a little-
fork is doing a little too much right now.
I know, I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, I'm asking everyone this, like, do you have any advice? You know where I'm at with the journey emotionally and with where I'm at with moving forward. I have, is today Tuesday? Tuesday.
Yeah, it's just
I have Tuesday and Wednesday and half of Thursday. I mean, not a lot of Thursday, but
a lot
you
of
know.
Thursdays on ice. But
Yeah, that's true. A couple days moving forward, like, do you have any advice or any suggestions on how I can have these conversations? Because I literally sat in the have-not room for like 3 hours, not knowing how I can move about these conversations and be like, how can I make amends and try and move forward? Or I don't even know. Like,
know.
any advice
you know.
would be helpful.
So, I know from the outside world looking in, it's probably like, get it!
Yeah,
And there are kind of two sides of this. There's one perspective where it's like, who cares? Like, black people, people of color have had to learn all this stuff the really hard way. Like, fuck it, he'll figure it out, and he'll have to carry all those emotions because we always had to.
Yeah.
But you're my friend, you're still a human being, and it is. I've had 27 years to experience all of this. You're trying to go in. Hey. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good, dude.
If you kind of live here, so.
That's the
I just
thing.
gotta take a shower. No, but you guys are
Auntie
good.
came in and was like, I'm sitting here like, yeah, this is your room that I'm having a meeting in, so you're kind of justified. But yeah.
But yeah, so we guys had 27 years of going through the process and taking and learning. You, oh, Monty?
Yeah. Come on in.
Was it shower
No,
time?
you're good.
Yeah. It's just every time, dude. I'm
Sorry, no, you're good.
You live here.
I don't think this will be the last time. But
But yeah, it is a lot to try to take in and process and digest when you're just now really doing the deep dive on the journey to growth. So
for sure.
I say you're a human being, you need to take time to sit down and decompress and process what you take in. So the same way that you did with me and Monty yesterday, like, hey, I'm not so good today, can we talk tomorrow? Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to take that time.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to hold that against you. I don't think
appreciate
anybody in the house will hold that against you.
Cool.
And, you know, there's we don't have access to resources
Yeah.
here, or until September, the end of September.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have a lot of books that I really love that very plainly and easily line things out.
Cool.
That make me reevaluate how I think about not just my relationship with blackness, but my relationship with every other ism.
Yeah,
and everything, obia, everything.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll send those to you and
Yeah, that'd be huge.
read them when you can. There are podcasts that, you know, you throw on when you're in the shower.
Yeah.
Like, it is never a bad time to try to consume content that will help you grow.
For sure.
And then in between, you know, you throw on your favorite music,
Yeah.
and then the podcast is next in the queue. So,
Yeah.
like, there are easy ways
Yeah.
to try to grow there.
Yeah.
But for me, in this house, what you have the opportunity to do is just invest in the relationships that you have
Yeah,
here.
for
So,
sure.
ask questions about
Yeah.
what some of our experiences have been like.
Yeah.
And it might be hard, and
Yeah.
some people might not want to talk about it because it can be really painful.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's a bad thing
Yeah.
to ask those questions.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you haven't had that one-on-one experience,
Yeah.
and I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's a lot of debate outside about asking people to open up their wounds so that people like you can learn.
Yeah.
But you just have to find people who are
Yeah.
willing to.
Yeah.
But just invest in the relationships here,
Okay.
and from there,
Yeah.